Hi everybody, welcome back. I've got some fun things planned for Memorial Day. First of all, if you saw me yesterday, I did a quick intro on how I do my ribs. So I started yesterday by putting a slab of baby back ribs on a rack, and inside this sheet pan I put some slices of garlic, slices of fresh ginger, some coconut aminos, and about a cup of hot water. When I put this in the oven to bake these, that steam makes a beautiful aroma, and it not only roasts the ribs and gives them nice tender finish, but it also gives it a nice steam and keeps them moist, and that fragrance goes into the meat. So you don't have to marinate it first. It does all the work in the oven. I cooked them for about 350 30 minutes, and then I reduced the temperature to 200 depending on how many ribs you have. Just look for them to be nice and tender and almost pull apart. Not completely pull apart, because we need them to hold together when we put them on the grill. So I'm going to do that now. I have my grill preheated, and it is warm out here today in Orlando, Florida, so I think from here until maybe summer, fall, we'll be doing these inside. So I'm just going to put these on the grill, and I'm going to start with it with the rib side down, and I'm going to adjust the temperature to be kind of medium because I just want to get them warmed. Now you can do this two ways. You can use a pre-made sauce, which I'm going to do today, or you can go to the website and do the Asian Fusion barbecue sauce, which I did a couple of weeks ago when I was out here last time. But today I'm going to use this new Primal Smoky barbecue sauce. It really is the closest thing I have found to being close to homemade, because I used to make my own homemade barbecue sauce all the time, but it doesn't contain any of those nasty ingredients that we're trying to stay away from, like corn syrup and some other things like that. And it has a wonderful smoky flavor. It'll be perfect on these oven roasted ribs. And it makes it easy because we just roast them in the oven. You can do all of that in advance, refrigerate them like I did last night, and then bring them out and grill them on Sunday or Monday whenever you decide to do your Memorial Day celebration. And keep this one in the book because it's really worth doing over and over. So we're going to let that warm up. While that's warming, I'm going to show you my picnic potato salad. Now everybody has a potato salad, and this is one that's become a classic with our family. All I've done so far is cubed up and boiled about 4 medium-sized Hannah sweet potatoes. I like the nutritional value of the Hannah sweet potatoes. They hold up like a white potato, and they just have a delicious flavor. So I cubed them up, I peeled them, I cubed them up, I put them in salted boiling water until they were fork tender. I drained them in a colander, and I immediately, while they were hot, put about 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Now, as these cool to room temperature, they absorb that acid, and it gives it a really nice bright flavor. I also cooked about 3 pieces of bacon, and I used 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat with some of my, of course, favorite Cassandros olive oil. So there's about a half a cup of olive oil, about a 1/4 cup of white wine vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat that I rendered from when I cooked the bacon. And the bacon's going to go into this potato salad too. It's going to make it nice and smoky. So I'm just stirring these together, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Now this Dijon mustard is also from Noble Made. It's actually no wine, coarse Dijon mustard, and it's absolutely delicious. And I've started incorporating this new item into a lot of my recipes. And for you, Cousin Barb, I am measuring. Look at that. There's a tablespoon for you, okay? She always laughs at how I don't measure anything. Today I'm doing this for you. The rest of it, well, I measured in the measuring cup before I put it in. You know, I usually wing it, and you guys get the idea. So this is going in to the salad dressing. And I'm gonna whisk that up. And that's gonna go on the potatoes. But first, I'm gonna add about a half a cup of diced red onion and about a half a cup of diced celery. And I will stir those together. The thing about these potatoes is they might start to break down a little bit, and that's okay because it gives it a really nice consistency, but you don't want to stir it so much that it starts to really get sloppy. So I'm just stirring that in, and then I'm going to pour the dressing right over the top and stir that in. And this dressing is good on its own. You can use it on anything, but I love it. Oh, there I go, Julia Child again. I love it in this salad dressing. So you can see that's nice and coated, incorporated, not too wet. And I'm gonna do a little salt and pepper. I always like to season at the beginning and again at the end. Clean up my mess, goodness. And stir in that salt and pepper. And the finishing touch is gonna be a little bit of mayonnaise, about a quarter cup. You can leave it just like this. If you like to have a little more creamy consistency, I like to put in the mayonnaise. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that because that's how I like it. And if you make this ahead, it will absorb the dressing. So if you make a little extra dressing, you can always, hit it with some dressing before you serve it. And if you make it the day before, all of those flavors will meld in the refrigerator and soak into the potatoes, and it's just so yummy. Finally, I want you to look at these ribs. They are smelling so good, and they will be fall off the bone. So I just turned it over, and I'm gonna add just some of this sauce. I'm gonna pour it right over the top. I'm not gonna touch the ribs. Just pour right down the center. And then I'm gonna brush it on with my barbecue brush. I don't like my ribs really super saucy. I like the sauce to caramelize and kind of soak into the meat a little bit, so I'm just adding a little bit. If you like saucier ribs, what I recommend is heating up some sauce and putting it on after you take them off the grill. Okay, back to this potato salad. I've got some fresh herbs from the yard, some dill, some parsley, and some chives. I'm gonna add those. And the big finale is the bacon. So when I cooked the bacon, I reserved 2 tablespoons of the fat for the dressing. I'm just gonna chop up this cooked bacon, run the knife through it a few times so you have some nice pieces, but not so tiny that it's like those pre-made bacon bits. We don't like those. We want to taste the bacon. And this is a no sugar, uncured bacon, which is completely paleo and Whole30 compliant. So we're not deviating too much from our menu and trying to stay within our parameters of healthy eating. Now I'll just take a little bit of this parsley. If the stems are thin, I just go ahead and chop right through them. And you can see I've got my knuckles back and I'm pushing with my thumb forward. That's just the standard way to go through anything. I'm using my chef's knife. You can use any kind of knife that you're comfortable with chopping. Don't use a paring knife. You'll just hurt yourself. It's not sharp enough and it's too small. I'm gonna throw those in. And right now I'm just layering it on top, and then I'll stir it all in at the end because I don't want to keep stirring it, messing it up. I love dill in potatoes overall. Maybe it's a Greek thing. Dill and lemon. And I'll throw the dill in, and finally the chives. And these grow literally like weeds in my yard as well. When it starts getting really hot here in Florida, everything tends to die off, but the herbs are you know, one step up from weeds. So they tend to stick around as long as they get watered occasionally. So that's the potato salad. It's called Picnic Potato Salad on the website, livingdeliciousnutrish.com. You can look it up there. Your friends are gonna love this, or your family. Let's see how these ribs are doing. Ooh, smoky. And you can see that they have warmed up nicely. We have a nice caramelization on the top of the ribs. And that's all they need. They're warmed through, they're done, they have the sauce, and that's delicious. Here's another trick that you may or may not know. I like to flip the ribs over when I cut them because you can see right where the bones are and you can go right through them. It's another reason why I don't like really sloppy tops on my ribs with the barbecue sauce, because I just like to make sure that everything is, and I'm just going right through these with about 3 ribs per portion. And you can see that they are just fall off the bone, yummy. I don't even really need to use this knife. I could use anything, but they still hold their shape. And that's delicious. So we're quick today. We've got ribs done. We've got potato salad done. Now we're gonna do a little dessert. I know, dessert, right? But we're not Whole30 today, but we're still paleo, so we like to have a little something. I have some fresh peaches here that I've cut in half. And I just took the pits out. I'm gonna put them cut side down on this side of the grill where it's still warm. And peaches are just coming into season here, so they've been a little difficult to find. I think I'm gonna make sure that this stays on. We're just gonna let those warm through and get some nice grill marks, and while that's happening, we're gonna make a spicy filling. So what I have here is some grass-fed ghee, and I just started buying from Thrive Market. It's an online Whole30 paleo natural Costco. And I love everything that I've tried so far. So this is a grass-fed ghee. It's a little melted from being outside, but that's okay. I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon for 2 peaches, okay? So 1 tablespoon of the ghee. And then I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon, see Barb, I measured again, but that's not gonna happen every time. 1 tablespoon of this honey that a friend of mine just gave me from Greece. It's actually pine honey. So it's sweet, but it has that nice pine finish. I mean, it's from pine trees. And this is only available in Greece, but you can use any honey, any natural organic honey that you can find. And then I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of Chinese 5-spice powder. This has a wonderful aroma. It's great on grilled meats, so why not grilled peaches? I'm just gonna sprinkle about a teaspoon of that. So per whole peach, 2 halves, you're gonna do a tablespoon of ghee, a tablespoon of honey, and a teaspoon of the spices. If you don't think you like the 5-spice powder, just use cinnamon or fresh ginger or powdered ginger. Probably would be better on the grill. So I'm just mixing that up. So it just makes like a nice syrup. And let's take a look at these peaches. They're gonna get some nice grill marks on the other side. Not quite. We'll keep those that way for another second. And I can't see questions from across the table, I'm sorry. Hi, Helen, how are you? Nice to see everyone. Hi Jamie, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. You know, my website is really starting to get some hits, so thanks so much for keeping an eye on what I've been posting. I'm trying to update every couple days with new recipes. It's livingdelishandnutrish.com, and if you like the recipes, please let me know, and also sign up for my newsletter. It's going out about every 2 weeks. And the next issue will be going out tomorrow. So when you go on the website, just fill out that little pop-up card and you'll get information about deals from all of my preferred partners and discounts and more recipes. I like to post videos like this and links to all of my other videos. It's just a lot of fun information. So even if you're not paleo, I think you might find some fun things, and you can change up the ingredients and cook it however you like. But I like to do it this way, and I like to share. Let's see how these peaches are doing. Okay, I feel them sticking a little bit, so that's perfect. They still don't have those really nice grill marks because I have the grill a little turned down, but I'm going to turn them over. And then inside each of these pit cavities, I'm going to spoon a little bit of this sauce. And that's going to heat up and caramelize and make these peaches absolutely delicious. Turn this up a little more. So while those are finishing, it's not a holiday without a cocktail, right? So I like cocktails, and I think they're fun, especially in these big plastic glasses that we can use poolside. And what I'm going to show you today is an Aperol Spritz. It's very popular in Europe. We were drinking them all last summer in Greece. And basically, it's a low alcohol cocktail because you're using the Aperol, which doesn't have a high alcohol content, and you're using Prosecco, which when you're only doing half, you know, you get half of the alcohol. So I'm going to put some ice in this big wine glass. So Aperol is a very interesting aperitif because it's actually made from rhubarb and oranges, and it has 2 herbs in it, gentian and cicuta, and those 2 are actually very well known to be used naturally in a lot of medicinal situations, like for upset stomach or heartburn and things like that. So it's alcohol, it's a cocktail, but it still has few health benefits, so let's go for it, right? I'm gonna do about half of the glass, not quite, with the Aperol. And I'm gonna do about the same amount of the Prosecco. And it's so refreshing. And then I'm just gonna top it off with some sparkling water. And I like to use this San Pellegrino that's already naturally orange flavored. You can use plain, you can add another flavor if you want to add a different dimension. And the rest of it's just gonna be the sparkling water. And then I'll take my straw and I'll stir it in. And because Aperol is an aperitif, it helps you with your appetite. So serve these first. And that's delicious. I know, it's 1 o'clock on a Tuesday, right? Or Wednesday. Good Lord, what day is it? So these peaches are looking just about done. I would have liked a little more grill marks, but because of the time, I'm just gonna show them to you as they are. You can tell that they've gotten nice and soft, but they're not mushy. And you can serve them in a little dish like this. And then that sauce can be spooned over the top. You could put a little Greek yogurt on top of this. If you're so inclined and you'd like some dairy, you can put some ice cream. Again, this recipe is going on the website soon, but it's kind of a no recipe, so you should be able to remember how to do this. And we had our delicious ribs and our picnic potato salad, and we're sheltering at home, so it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you on Facebook. Take care. Cheers.